The first time I saw her, the world was silent. Not just the ordinary hush of twilight or the muffled quiet of snowfall, but a silence that seemed carved into the marrow of existence. I was walking along the outer perimeter of the excavation site, boots crunching against the sand, when a figure stepped out of the shimmering distortion near the ruins. She wasn't human. That much was obvious before I even had the courage to admit it to myself. Her skin gleamed like pale copper under the twin moons, etched with faint patterns that seemed alive, shifting like writing across her arms. Her hair, or what resembled hair, moved as though underwater, long filaments reflecting the dim starlight. Her eyes caught mine and I froze. I didn't plan what happened next. My throat worked and instinct, the simplest thread of humanity, pushed words out of me. "Hello." She stopped mid-step. Her head tilted. For an instant her eyes widened, then narrowed, as if I had just spoken a password she had waited lifetimes to hear. She took a single step forward and whispered in a voice textured like wind across glass. This greeting, it was forgotten. The forgotten greeting. We had come to the desert planet of Kalos 9 as part of a mundane dig. The ruins scattered across the dunes hinted at an ancient civilization, but most of the crew assumed the usual. Crumbled temples, forgotten idols, a few scraps of alien metallurgy. Nothing to suggest first contact. Nothing to suggest her. Her words sank into me like anchors. She stared at me, waiting, though, for what I could not guess. I cleared my throat, my pulse racing. "I didn't mean. I just said hello," I muttered. "Hello," she repeated, but when the syllables left her lips, they seemed weighted, solemn, as if the word itself was an artifact. She whispered it again, softer. "Hello." The first door. I wanted to call the others, to alert command, to bring witnesses. But something in her gaze warned me against it. This was fragile. This was history balanced on the edge of a knife. "Who are you?" I asked. "I am called Saria," she said, her voice almost song-like. I remember much. But I had forgotten the greeting. Until now. Middle. The awakening. Over the next nights, she appeared again and again, always near the ruins, always when I walked alone. At first, I thought I was hallucinating, or worse, that exposure to Kalos's strange magnetic fields had cracked my mind. But every encounter etched more detail. The subtle glow of the markings on her skin, the faint hum that followed her words, the gravity of her presence. She spoke of her people, the Iliari. Once they had traveled the stars. They had taught themselves to fold space, to walk between worlds like stepping across a stream. But long ago, war and betrayal had driven them into silence. She claimed the Iliari built not just cities but memory vaults, structures designed to keep knowledge alive even after their people fell into sleep. And this planet, Kalos 9, was one of their vault worlds. "You are not supposed to be here," she said one evening, gazing across the dunes where the suns were dying red. "And yet you are the one who remembered the greeting. Do you know what it means? It's just, hello. It's how we meet each other." She shook her head. "It is not just sound. The greeting is the key. To greet without fear, without conquest, without debt. The first Iliari who met your kind long ago. They taught you this word. Spread across your bloodline. But somewhere in your eons, you forgot its origin." A chill crept over me. Was she saying that humans had learned the word hello from her people? That every casual greeting on Earth was a relic of a forgotten contact? "You gave us language," I whispered. "Not all language. Seed. Signal. A memory of friendship," Saria said, her copper-like skin shimmering. "When you said it, the vault woke. I woke. The vault." On the 5th night, she led me into the ruins. The others had dismissed them as sand-worn husks, But Saria revealed pathways I hadn't noticed. Arches carved with Eliari glyphs, steps that unfolded from the stone when she touched them, corridors buried beneath dunes. The vault was alive. Not in the biological sense, but in the way that machines dream. Walls pulsed faintly with energy, threads of light snaking through crystal conduits. At the center stood a chamber shaped like a sphere split open, filled with floating fragments of silver glass. "This is the Hall of First Greetings," Saria said. She extended a hand, and the shards of glass aligned, forming visions that twisted through the air. I saw creatures of light, of shadow, of water, each meeting Eliari envoys. Each encounter began the same way, with a word, a sound, an offering of peace. For us it had been hello. "You carry the forgotten gift," she said. "And so the vault recognizes you. It will open its records to your kind." I swallowed, my throat dry. This was beyond archaeology. This was history rewritten. Human origins tied to alien contact we had buried even from ourselves. "But why me?" "Yes. Because you greeted without knowing the weight of what you spoke. Purity lies in the unknowing act." Rising conflict. The others noticed my absences. My commanding officer, Dr. Ilara, grew suspicious. When she confronted me, I hesitated, torn between loyalty to my crew and the gravity of Saria's trust. Eventually I broke. "There's someone here," I whispered. "An Eliari. Her name is Saria." Ilara stared at me, expression hard. "That's impossible." So I took her to the ruins. But when we arrived, Saria was gone. The chamber stood empty, the shards of silver glass lifeless and dull. Ilara's face twisted with disappointment and suspicion. "You're compromised," she said flatly. "You're seeing illusions. This planet's magnetic anomalies." "No." Snap. "She's real. The vault is real. You just..." But Ilara didn't believe me. She restricted my access to the site. I was confined to the base perimeter, my credibility shattered. That night I thought I'd lost Saria forever. But as the moons climbed, she appeared in my quarters, her form shimmering like a projection and yet undeniably real. "They will not see me," she said. "Only you spoke the greeting. To others, I am shadow. What do I do?" I asked desperately. "You must choose. If your people open the vault wrongly, the knowledge will devour them. But if you guard it alone, it may never bloom again." Climax. The greeting restored. The next day, Ilara and the team initiated deep scans of the ruins. The vault began to react, defensive systems stirring after eons of sleep. The ground trembled, sand collapsing into fissures. I broke from confinement and ran toward the chamber, alarms blaring across the camp. Saria appeared at my side, her expression grave. They approach without greeting. The vault reads invasion. What do? I shouted over the roar of collapsing stone. Speak the greeting. Teach them what was forgotten. We burst into the central hall just as Ilara and the others forced their way inside. The shards of silver glass had become a storm, whirling violently, sparks of energy lashing out. One beam struck a soldier, knocking him unconscious. Ilara raised her scanner, shouting for the team to retreat, but the vault's fury grew. The Eliari defense systems recognized aggression. I stepped forward, heart pounding, and raised my voice. "Hello!" The word rang out, echoing unnaturally in the chamber. The shards froze midair. Light rippled across the walls. The fury of the vault stilled like a beast soothed.